Hey, baseball fan, time for a little self-care and a few minutes of cardboard meditation. Welcome to the show that features some of baseball's oddest stories and the cardboard slabs that document them. Find peace and joy through baseball cards with your host, the big guy.
Okay, there are a lot of fake outrages going on right now here on YouTube, a lot of artificial drama, all with that manufactured conspiracy theory that's got everybody all worked up about something because somebody said something I don't even know. But this next thing is way more provocative than any of that stuff. It is. I know you're not going to believe me, but well, let's just start. Do you know this man? Well, you think you might. You think you know who this guy is, but I have it on good authority. This man, John Mangini, is not who you think he is. Now, I know this sounds a little far-fetched, but he's really a man from our future. I'm not kidding you. You see, his real name is Jean-Luc Mangini, and he's using teleportation devices that can take himself back and forth through time. Oh yeah, you know that story. And what he's doing is downright outrageous and unethical. Jean-Luc is going back in time to the 1920s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and he's buying up baseball cards from those eras and then teleporting them back to 2025. I know you think that is some kind of space age thing, but it's the next generation of baseball card collecting. I'm sure you might know what I'm talking about. He's amassing an incredibly huge collection of beautiful vintage cards to show off right here on YouTube. You know, Jean-Luc and John-Luc look the same because they are the same. They're the same guy. Notice you'll never see them at the same card show together. The reason? They're the same dude. And here's what's going on. He is robbing the past of their vintage baseball cards and bringing them straight to us. I know that sounds like a good idea, but is it truly ethical? Now, in light of this shocking revelation, I ask you to watch his channel and keep an eye on his activities. Together, we'll stop the madness, and I'll make sure to shut down that warp core that operates that teleporter. The only thing that will stop me is, the 1954 Bowman Ted Williams would be good if you could pick one up for me. I'll look the other way, I promise. Keep my mouth shut. But if I don't get that, I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. I'm shutting down the warp core. Now, there's a lot of names for this guy. Jean-Luc Mangini, scoundrel, collector, investor, who knows, maybe even teacher. But the word I like to use tonight is a word that's going to make him squirm, I'm certain. It's influencer. He's a YouTube influencer. Okay, so that's not a bad thing. You know, there's been a lot of YouTubers that have influenced me, especially with my collection. And it isn't a bad name, especially when it's defined by passion and knowledge and, dare I say, leadership. Look, here are a few cards that I have picked up over the last couple of years that have had some influence of people here on YouTube, namely Jean-Luc Mangini. Let's take a look at some real quick here, okay? And then we'll get back to this crazy story because it's a real thing. All right. These are 1968 Dexter press cards. You've probably seen these things. They're all over the place. There's different variations. They're beautiful cards, and they're made by a postcard company, I think. In fact, they're the exact same size. I've seen these actually made up as postcards, too. That's Bill Freehand, one of my favorites. Here is Brooks Robinson. What a great card that is. They were distributed by Coca-Cola, and supposedly there's 228 cards in the set. The following year, I think 69, I think they're much larger, a much wider card. Here's what I remember how to get these cards. When you get a bottle of Coke, Sprite, Tab, Fanta, Fresca, any of those kind of Coke products back in the day, you'd pop the bottle cap off of it, and there'd be a ball player under it. And what you would do is collect up to 35 of these ball players in the caps and put them in this cap saver, sheet. And then you can turn them in for a team that's near you, like maybe the Atlanta Braves with Joe Torre, or maybe the Baltimore Orioles with Frank Robinson. Or if you don't have a team near you, you could order the All-Star team because they were also represented. Mike Cuellar. I want to show you something really cool about Mike Cuellar. On the back of the cards, I didn't show you all the rest of them. They're all basically the same. But can you see right there, it has a pronunciation there on how to pronounce his name. Look at that. Cuellar. Of course, they didn't use Miguel, which is his real name, Miguel Cuellar. But, hey, I prefer that today. There's a lot of ball players today that I don't know who they are. I can't pronounce their names. But these are beautiful cards. I've got probably about 15, 20 more that I just didn't want to pull out because I've got a room issue here on my desk. But aren't these some of the most beautiful cards? And you know why I picked these out? Because these are regional. And they're oddballs. I like to use that term a lot because it really upsets the next generation of card collectors that Mr. Jean-Luc Mangini represents. All right, let's take a look at the next batch. Also, regional cards. These are also some very beautiful, colorful cards. I'm going to show you two of them here. These are the 1968 Cons cards. Cons hot dogs. I believe they were down in Cincinnati. Excuse me. And they were the same format of the 1966 and 67 Cons cards. And some collectors kind of confuse them. I have before. I have to admit it. They're about the same size. The logos are a little different. Some of the colors are a little different, but the photos and everything else are the same. They come in a couple different sizes because there's different size meat products that they need to go around, that they would need to encompass. So they're different sizes. I have two more of these. I have a Dick McAuliffe and Earl Wilson. As you'll notice, they're all Tigers because they were represented in this set. Not all teams were. The Cubs, Mets, Pirates, Indians, Reds, Braves, White Sox, and, like I said, the Tigers. Another Bill Freehand. I guess that was his day. Now, they normally have a little coupon. You can see right down here there's a dotted line. Somebody removed that coupon, a little tab that was down there. When that is removed, the cards are not nearly as desirable by some of the collectors. But, if it's on there, if you have that tab on there, it's anywhere from 35 to 50% more in value. So if you want to do that and check this out and make sure that you buy cards that are more valuable, look for the tabs. Now, one of the cool cards from the 1968 Cons is the 1968 Johnny Bench. Because as you can pretty much imagine, that's his rookie card. And yes, it is his rookie card. And it's just as much as the 68 Topps is. And if you want to take a look at it, here it is. That is a special card. Special card. Okay, so this next card is something that's got a little backstory to it. First of all, let me tell you what it is. It's an E121 made in 1922. It is an American caramel card. Many of the cards claim that there's 80 different cards in the set, and then you'll see them on the back and say 120 cards on the set. And you can see that right here, right at the top. It's because that first set was 80 and the second set was 120. And I've heard that there's even more cards than this, that there's up to 220 cards. At any point, it's really confusing because back then nobody was really worrying about putting sets together and keeping sets. They were just manufacturing these cards and selling caramel candy. Also, I have read that these cards came in contact with the candy. I don't think so. I don't think so at all because I don't see a whole lot of them with candy stains. Others have said that they would give you one of these baseball cards when you purchased the candy. And some of them said that there was actually they were inside the candy package, but they had a piece of wax paper around the candy. I do not know, but I'll bet you I do. I know somebody who does know. Jean-Luc Mangini. I need to know. All right. those are my cards. This one was an interesting story, and I'll tell you how I got this. I was playing Immaculate Grid one day, and it was one of the little cells was about 20 game winners for the Tigers. I knew a bunch of them, but I wanted to get one with a real low score. So I was racking my brains out, and I came up with one. But then I looked at the sheet, at the end where you can check and see it against other players that have had similar stats. This guy came up. George Dawes, Hooks Dawes. Hooks was actually what they talked about as being a curveball, and he threw a darn good one. And he was a great player during that dead ball era. Take a look at the stats. All right, that's it. Make sure you keep an eye out for Jean-Luc Mangini or Jean-Luc Picard. I don't know which one you want to take a look for, but keep an eye on them. They're up to no good. Well, I guess it's some good. Well, thank you for the vision and groundbreaking, Jean-Luc Mangini. I appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because that's kind of like my reward. That's like my Scooby snack, and I really am hungry right now. Hey, and comment as well. Talk soon. Do you know what I like to do before boldly going where no one has gone before? I like to look at some baseball cards.
Cardboard meditation helps set your mind right. Thank you for watching. Show us your appreciation by clicking the like and subscribe button. Ring the bell while you're at it so you'll know when we upload a new story.